And this is Tech Talk Radio, and we're just starting up our cast here for Saturday, the 15th of January, 2011. I'm Andy Taylor. No dramatic opening, no wild, crazy bumpers. It's just two guys talking about tech, and we've got Slick here with us. Slick, good day to you.
Are we supposed to be streaming and viewable on our webpage?
We should be.
TechtalkRadio.com/live?
You make sure you hit refresh on there. So we should be. It might be a little delay on there.
Okay.
If you're not looking at that. But crazy week here in Tucson, right, Slick?
Oh, yeah. You mean from last week? I was going to make a very inappropriate comment before we started live streaming. It would have been funny between you and me, but nobody else, and so I'm not going to say it. It was really inappropriate, so don't worry about it.
Right.
It was just me being a smart,
Which is what Slick does.
Yeah.
That's quite all right. But, last week on the show, for many of you tune in who maybe don't know or maybe you do know, we actually do this show out of Tucson. And it's done from my garage, which is on the northwest side of Tucson, probably about a good 15, maybe 20 minutes away from the corner of Ina and Oracle, which is where last Saturday's shootings took place at the Safeway, which took the lives of 6 people. We had announced, due to MSNBC announcing it, that Gabrielle Giffords had passed away and been killed by the gunman's bullet that was the target of his evil plot. And we found out, luckily, that she did not, in fact, pass away. And we did announce it before the end of the show. I don't know if you remember that, Slick. But we were just going with what MSNBC did. And when we hit MSNBC, we found out, oh, wait a minute, no, they're saying she's not passed, that she's at the hospital and she's unconscious, but at the hospital.
Actually, the information that we got it at Fox and MSNBC as well as NPR. I mean, when you go back and look through everything, it turns out that NPR and Fox released it saying she had passed away, but that wasn't the case. But yeah, we announced, because then following that, MSNBC announced it. We're sitting here and we're like, oh, great, thanks.
Yeah, we just go by what the news agencies were, and it turns out that the news agencies, and in this day and age of Twitter and Facebook, a lot of the news agencies rely on some of that information, and it's just not credible. The most credible source of the information is going to be EMS, the police, the sheriff, the hospital itself with an official statement, but everybody's rushing to get the word out before everybody else, and then people go off what they hear, etc. Last week it was a little funny because the next day, Gloria and I had gone to Best Buy, and we were standing watching some of the news reports, and actually we saw Clarence Dubnik when Clarence was on television, and Clarence is the sheriff for Pima County, which is where we're at. And the guy next to me said, oh yeah, they had heard that she had coded on the way to the hospital, talking about Gabrielle Giffords. And they had announced it over the radio, and I thought, well, that's probably what happened then. Probably because news agencies listen to police scanners and everything else, so they probably heard that Gabby Giffords had died, and then that was when the announcement went out, or that she coded or something like that. But again, I'm going off a guy who's sitting next to me that's talking. You know what I mean? So you go over that, and you just think, okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah, and I heard on Fox. I'm not picking on Fox. I'm just saying, I caught their explanation of it because they did backpedal live on their network, and they explained why they made that statement, which is fine. So before anybody thinks I'm picking, I pick on everybody.
Yeah,
I have a problem with them all.
You're an equal opportunity picker, right?
Equal opportunity offender. And actually, I posted on my social networking site. You'll see it sitting right up there. Ask my mother. Daily it haunts her.
The most ludicrous comment I heard this weekend, Slick, I have to tell you, is an Elvis fan told me, well, this has completely overshadowed Elvis's birthday. I just thought, wait a minute, where are you going with that one?
Okay. All right. Well, no, and I can see how somebody can make that statement, because I think I saw some statements posted like that on like Twitter and something. They were, and they related it to Gabrielle Giffords, and I went, see, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But Fox was saying, and I didn't like this. I didn't like the way they said it, but they said, we checked with 2 and 3 of our credible sources in federal government and whatever. Not good enough. It's not good enough an explanation. Not for me. I need more. You said that, this happened and it's not true. Now you need to either out those sources or stop using those sources, and preferably stop using them. Number one. I don't know where they got the information from, but I think they were wrong. I think they should have explained themselves further. I know they have sources they can't name and don't name, but that explanation was not good enough. Just not good enough.
Well, the thing is you just can't simply take it off a website. If you post it on the web and it's there, you really simply just can't take it off the website and hope that people aren't going to see it.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
And it's like some people are doing with Twitter now. People are taking everything, and I mean everything they see on Twitter, as gospel, and you can't do that either, because I guess what's the latest thing? Now, this may be true, it may not be true. I don't know. I'm going to use this as an example because it showed up this morning. I open up, I use some software from Yahoo called Sideline, and it'll do constant searches on words and then put them in a feed for me so I can see. Plus, they have what they call a trending window, and they roll about 10 of the popular topics down there. Now, I get up this morning, I look at it, and I see, don't know if it's true or not, and I'll look into it later. We'll see. It says R.I.P. Nelson Mandela. Now, when I opened it up, there, you get 3 pulls from Twitter, just to give you an example of what's trending.
Right.
And they all have the same question. And Nelson Mandela is dead? Really? Why is Nelson Mandela trending? You don't just take, you look at Twitter, but then you go to credible news sources to find out whether or not it's true, or somebody's just starting a meme. Somebody could just be starting a meme. It's happened before. They on Twitter, people have always said, rest in peace, whatever, and the person's still alive.
Exactly. The sentiments are nice, but I'm not dead.
Don't trust them. Verify. And we've been in media for decades, couple of quarter decades. I've learned, and I guess I probably learned the hard way once, but ever since I've never done it. I always find 3 credible sources because I will out you. If you lie to me, I will out you. Most of the time, I'll keep people. I won't release their names if they don't want to be they don't want to be known. That's fine with me. But if you lie to me, it's over. The relationship is over.
Right. What do you think is a reliable news source, though? How do you determine, I'm going to trust this source? Normally, when, Slick, you and I being in radio for, 20 plus years, as you mentioned, we would go, the AP is reporting, or UP is saying, this is what they're saying. You could always refer to it, but you see so many people now they won't say that they got it from MSNBC. They won't say that they got it from CBS News. They'll just go with it. So even if they did get the story from somebody else, in the old days, you always said CBS News is reporting that so-and-so is dead. So unless you're told directly from a source that is, in law enforcement or works in the hospitals or, that is close to that you trust, that has always been correct with you, shouldn't you always be referring to where you got that information from?
Well, that's a practice that I had gotten into a long time ago. Now, I mean, if it's a public news, and depending on how you're sharing information, like I've worked for some radio stations where they want you to give the impression, and it was wrong. I didn't want to do it, but when they've signed the paychecks, what are you going to do? Where they want you to give the information as if you had done the research, and I mean, regardless whether you had or not, that it came from you, and everybody should always turn to you to get their information. And so you don't quote that, hey, I read it in the newspaper. I mean, it's even something as simple as that. You don't say, hey, I got this information out of the newspaper, or this official told me, and make it. You give the impression that you did the legwork and all that stuff, which is wrong. If you don't, I've learned to always point to where I got my sources, and like I said, preferably 3 sources. I will say I read it in this morning's Arizona Daily Star, or yesterday's Tucson Citizen, or I overheard from a source who I really don't want to out. If I steal it from somebody else, I don't know. I never had a problem with. Now, my bosses probably had a problem with it because they wanted it to seem like we knew everything.
Right.
But I would say things like, I overheard and stole it from somebody else who I'm not going to give credit to because I don't like them. Just
let's say the old
get it out there
in the USA Today.
Yeah. I've never had a problem with the USA Today, but if I were on the air against another disc jockey or something and I got my information from them, because somebody asked me, they said, where'd you hear it from? And I said, well, I don't want to tell you because I don't want to tell you, and I'll tell you off air or whatever, but.
I always found the USA Today to be almost like and forgive me for those writers over there, but almost like a tabloid, where to me it wasn't like I got news there, I got stories.
It's Well, it is McNews, and I don't begrudge them that at all. I don't have a problem with them doing McNews. Yeah. Because that's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. They do it well. It's, I think, weren't they the first, were they one of the first newspapers in color or something along that line?
Yeah, I think it was the first newspaper in the country regularly, daily, that was in color. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
We probably should address this too, because I've been getting some messages. Some people are saying they can't get to the chat room on our
I noticed that it really wasn't coming up, so I don't know. Again, if we've changed anything, we rely on Geek Shed, so I don't know if Geek Shed is doing something. Mike is online, but I don't know Linux Mike, and I don't know if he is if he knows anything about that. He helped us set that up, so I'm not sure what's the deal.
Well, let me say this now. For sure, the chat off of TechtalkRadio.com/live is working for me. I was able to log in, and I've got no problems. But I did have to, some people are saying that they can't see the white chat room just below the video feed on that web page. So I suggested they refresh, and they have, and I even think hi Raven, she cleared her cache, and that apparently didn't work. So
let me take a look here.
The chat room is working for me and not working for others. I'm not sure how we're going to resolve that.
The one at this is the one that's on our website on the live page.
Yeah, on TechtalkRadio.com/live.
But it's working for you.
Yeah, it is working for me. I'm in. I can see Randy. I can see USS Rover. I can hear the phone ringing here in the kitchen.
To call for you. If you want to call the show, you can call 520-407-5527.
Yeah, because this isn't my phone and I don't answer it. So. I never, I
really wonder. Again, like I said, we had some issues this weekend with some coding yesterday, as a matter of fact, and we had nothing coming up on the page, and now we're having stuff. Let me re-upload the page, and let's see if that fixes anything. So I'm doing that right now, and hopefully that will. And if that does, good, and everybody can try again. But you did get in. I couldn't get in earlier, so I don't know. And I know Malai was sending us some notes that he wasn't able to make it into the chat room. Oh, whoa. Big week, though. And then, of course, the president coming to visit. I don't know if you saw this, Slick, but this was actually kind of cool. And I really do want to mention this, because this happened on this Wednesday when President Obama came to town, correct?
Wednesday, yes. He came to town Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. Okay, so the cool thing that about Wednesday is we were told that the International Space Station was going to be flying over at around and visible. Aaron Jordan over at KOLD announced that it was going to be visible like around 5:57 on Wednesday in the evening at the northwest side or northeast in the sky. So it was about like 5:56. I said to Gloria, I go, because we were going to get ready and we wanted to watch the events from the McHale. So he said, let's go outside. So we go outside, look up in the sky, and right there, like right almost above the house, you could see it. It was perfect timing, tracking across the sky. And it tracked all the way across the sky, and then we came inside, and sure enough, the services started. And what's so significant about that is the fact that Gabrielle Gifford's brother-in-law was actually on the space station. Her twin, she's married to Mark Kelly. His twin brother is also in the space program, is actually up there in the space station. So it was really kind of cool.
I didn't realize that was his brother-in-law because, wait a minute, you said brother or brother-in-law? Because I know it was his brother-in-law.
Well, it's his brother, so her brother-in-law, yeah. Yeah.
Right, because it was really kind of tight. I was like, brother, I heard brother, and then I heard brother-in-law, and I went, wait, okay, now I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was
interesting.
Wonderful speech, though. A wonderful speech that the president delivered, and it was the only time that whole event I think really felt like a memorial service through the whole thing. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about that? Because the whole thing to me it almost seemed a little like a pep rally. And then
that's what some people were saying, and I'll be honest with you, I ignored that. I was watching what was going on the news channels and everything throughout the entire week, and for those of you who are not in our area, our local three majors, the ABC, NBC, and CBS affiliate, they were on, round the clock doing news as they should. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I was getting a little more than I needed at times, and so I kind of backed away from them a bit after all of the events that were happening that could change at a moment's notice. After that was over, then I was getting a little bit more than I needed, so I kind of backed away from it. Yeah. And I was flipping through the local news channels as well as Fox, MSNBC, and CNN. So when President Obama came in town on Wednesday and then did the speech, I did not listen to the speech. I didn't watch it because, one, I knew. I tend to, when the president speaks, President of the United States in general, I don't care who's in office. When they speak, I generally get more out of reading the transcript later than I do watching the event. So usually, unless it's something I really feel I need to watch, I go back to the transcript later. Now, I have not reread the transcript only because I didn't feel the need to, because everybody was commenting on his speech. So I'm like, well, now I don't need to watch. I don't need to read that either.
Commenting on the speech, playing the clips, doing the whole bit. Yeah. Yeah.
And, and giving him kudos and complaining about this. And, so I felt I didn't need to look at the transcript. But from my takeaway from other people's comments about it, everybody seemed to lead off with, and I mean everybody across the board, is he was really good. He did what he had to do, and he said what he had to say. He set the tone. He was right. Then they get the nitpicky, which is okay. They were saying that, well, it was kind of like you said, the pep rally. I don't know. If I gather, without watching the speech, my takeaway on that, my guess would have been this. Because it's at the U of A, because it was at McHale Center, because it was about the events that have happened, and the tone he and others are trying to set and things like that, I'm not surprised if people complained that it was pep rally-ish, because you're not going to stop the people in the audience from exuding emotion, positively cheering. I mean, so if people came away saying, well, it felt like a pep rally, I'm not going to be surprised. Now, if you want to put the onus of that on the president, then I need to take a look at the transcript. I feel, without having watched any of the video and heard any of the speech, I'm going to assume that the crowd also had something to do with it. Yeah. That's just me.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think if you remember the 9/11 memorials that they did in tribute, every time somebody finished, there was just silence. There was no applause. And here, they'd be making a speech. And the theme of it really was the Together We Thrive is what we were calling it here in Tucson. But when you get down to it, maybe it wasn't so much a memorial. It was more a kind of a healing thing. Because seriously, the pain that this community has endured has been difficult. And for those of you not in Tucson, I apologize. We're kind of, spending the first half an hour talking about this. But this is something that has been very close to home, and it did affect our show last week. And, of course, it's affected the lives of many people here in town, and it's so close to us. I mean, seriously, this morning on CNN, they were showing the steps that this guy, Loeffner, took, that morning, that night before, and, we're seeing the Walmart, which is honestly 5 minutes away from here. The Motel 6. I've stayed at that Motel 6 that he stayed in. It's just, you break that down and you just see, wow, this is really close to home. And, some of us have felt, some of us I know watching this cast live in New York. What you felt on, and the rest of the world on 9/11. I mean, you can't compare this to that, but when it happens in your community, it's a lot different.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody paid attention to any of my posts on Twitter and all kinds of stuff last week, but after we got done with the show, after we got done with Tech Talk Radio, I was able to do some digging, and I was kind of surprised. I was able to get this information a lot faster than I think the feds as well as the national news media. So, apparently they don't have the good enough IT guys on their payroll to get into the places I guess I was able to get into.
Yeah.
The guy, he's in our community. When I say our community, I mean Andy in my community. It's down the road. Not only did the shooting take place down the road, but he stays down the road.
Yeah.
What else did I find? I found, stayed down the road. There was something else, and I started posting a little bit about it. I didn't want to post everything about him and his parents' life. Oh, and his neighbors and stuff. I was able to find, all that stuff, hours before it was released to national media and public. And I'm thinking, I wonder if Andy's digging through the servers and stuff I'm digging through and finding what I'm finding.
Yeah, I was. We went through and we were finding the YouTubes. Of course, we found those. Now, one question, actually, a couple of people asked me during the week, is when something like this happens and they start investigating somebody and they start going back and looking. Obviously, there are boneheads out there that will set up Facebook accounts for that in that person's name, so people doing searches are going to find them, and they'll think, "Oh, that's really that person's account." And then you go back and you look later, and you find out, no, that's just somebody who just got a sick mind and wanted to have fun with that person. But his MySpace was up there. But the feds, I don't know if it's the feds or if it's MySpace. Somebody, once his name came out, pulled his Facebook profile down. Now, who does that? Yeah. Is that MySpace or is that the feds? How does that happen?
It could be a combination of things. First of all, there have been times in the past where Facebook and MySpace, where something has happened, and to kind of try to separate themselves from the event. The staff within, maybe somebody, gets a check from the company, notice it, and then gets authorization from their boss, and then they just cut off access to it.
Right.
Again, same depending on what's on that site, the feds or authorities may request, and they probably now it's happened enough, so they probably now have a direct line to these social networking companies where they can make a phone call or send an email and go, this is the Pima County Sheriff's Department. We're requesting that you remove access to this profile. We would like an archive of everything that's available so we can do investigations,
right,
that kind of thing. And then now it happens like that. Before it didn't happen as fast. Now it can happen in a minute. I mean, look at what's going on with Twitter, and WikiLeaks.
Oh yeah, exactly. It can be taken.
WikiLeaks, so I wouldn't be surprised if all of my information's wound up in some FBI file as well at this point.
Well, the interesting thing too is we mentioned he's in our community. He's also he's been tied to the I don't want to say tech community, but he's also been tied to the gaming community, and participated in forums. And he would get on a forum and rant about how he felt about something that had nothing to do with the gaming world, and it was just what he was apparently to sources and some of the rants that have been posted on on the web. You would see them and go, okay, I did go do a run through and make sure, okay, has this guy been on our forum? But no, he hadn't been. I think it was more in the gaming sense rather than the tech sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. But before the whole national media got a hold of stuff, I mean, I knew about his ex-girlfriends.
Yeah.
And his friends, and I was able to access all that information. I didn't out anybody. I just kind of held on to it just in case. You never know. See what happens. And sure enough, people were, then they were announcing behind me that, yep, I was dead on. So I was like, wow, man.
Yeah, I was waiting for the media to start blaming video games on it, because it said that he'd been playing games, and I thought, okay, it's going to come any minute.
And it didn't happen, did it?
No, it didn't. I think everybody's been just realizing that, and even we're not hearing too much about the gun control issue. Arizona is a carry state. You can carry a firearm, a sidearm legally, which is interesting because Saturday afternoon, Gloria and I went to that Walmart, and there was a guy in front of us who had a 9mm on his side in a holster, and Gloria said to me, "Why does that guy need a gun?" I said, "You know what?" I said, I would be fine with anybody carrying a gun as long as they know how to use it. In one of those situations. So that you get in a whole other issue there. And Gandalf has a section on our forum on firearms and technology. I don't know if you know about this. And I looked at that and I thought, Gandalf had asked about that, and I thought, I go, we're a state that that we recognize the right to bear arms. So, and there are a lot of people out there that are recreational, weapon holder. They go out, they go hunting, they go shooting for fun. I love shooting whenever I can. It's just expensive for the ammo, but it's one of those things. I thought, yeah, go for it. Go ahead. You can have a little section in the forum, and who knows, might bring some people in who like the idea of the technology merged with firearms. But I did look at that and think, well, I wonder if in light of what happened, I thought, no, I'm not touching it. I'm leaving it up. So yeah. It's certainly still there.
We won't get into the debate about the arms and all that kind of stuff, but I probably, maybe just for the sake of outing myself and just so people fairly know,
right.
I'm a big supporter of people owning firearms. Maybe a bit to the extreme. Well, good. I'm not a sportsman. I'm more into self-protection. Always have been.
Right.
And having been mugged once, it'll probably help push me over the edge on that too. Having been mugged in D.C. without of my sidearm.
Wow.
was 2 blocks away from the White House, and people go, and why do you like firearms?
Wait, so you mean when I was walking around Washington, D.C., when I was 20 years old? No, I was 22. That was probably not a good idea. Just because I was just walking around. You know where the Mayflower Hotel is? I was walking up and down those streets, went to a nightclub and went to a blues club. I mean, it probably wasn't the smartest idea.
Well, I had an audience, too. I was at a bus stop. Just got off the air. Again, 2 blocks away from the White House. I mean, open area, public, you could see everybody. I won't go into the whole story of the thing, but after it was two guys and me.
Right.
I kind of won because they were screaming to get away from me because I was angry. I was really angry. And again, the martial arts kind of kicked in, too. That kind of helped. But after I got up, my pants were all shredded. I mean, you could see my underwear. I was all hanging out everywhere.
Oh, man.
And people were watching the whole thing and driving around us while we were tussling in the street. And I got up, I looked around, and I went, okay, I guess that, I must be back home then. Because people, they just watched. They watched the whole thing. And I'm like, nobody?
Wow.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? That's just crazy. Well, okay. Well, we've talked about this morning. We just definitely have to talk about it. And I think one of the other things that we probably should be hitting upon, and let's just kind of segue into that, is CES wrapped on Sunday. With Saturday coming in and then Sunday, with the news we had, I didn't follow it. I mean, seriously, Saturday dropped off for me. Sunday, Gloria and I said, you know what? We were tired. We have this. It's probably a 27-inch color television in the bedroom. And it's a huge behemoth Panasonic. I mean, I bought it back about 10 years ago. I think I spent like $900 on the thing. And a great picture, 3-comb filter. It was one of their better models that they had put out. And I spent a little more on it because I wanted it at the time, and I was making pretty good money back then. But it's 10 years later now, and the TV all of a sudden started going to a line, just a one line, and you'd have to walk up to it. And I don't know what gave us the idea to do it. It's smack it on the side, and then we get the full picture again. But this has been going on for about 2 months, and over time,
Fred Sanford TV.
Oh yeah, over time, dude, it got absolutely awful. We'd be watching something, and thank God we have a DVR on that television, because we were watching something and it'd be like the big action scene, and thoop, there we go, right to a single line. Then we'd take it in turns. Okay, your turn to get up and go smack it, right? So we finally said, you know what? I got a couple extra bucks. I worked on a project, so I said, let's go look for a television. Shopping for a television is it's actually a lot of fun, especially when you're looking for a good deal. And we went into a couple of stores. We went into the local guy, and the local guy was great. They had great television sets there. We couldn't find anything under $1,500. I mean, that's how he makes his living, for a television. And I'm talking local. I'm talking mom and pop electronics television store. And there's some good ones out there, but $1,500 was like that was way above our budget. So we hit Walmart, looked at Walmart, found a Samsung there. It was 720p. 60 hertz. You know, I was looking at it going, oh, gosh, that's $399. And then we go to Walmart, Best Buy. So we're going back and forth, hitting them all. And finally, Sunday, we decided, let's just turn off the news and get out. So we go out. We drove all the way to Oro Valley. They've got a Best Buy out there, and we figured it's out in the boonies. And we found, after talking with a salesperson who said Dynex, have you heard of the model Dynex?
Probably. Sounds like, it's one of those off-brands I probably have heard of. I may even own something from them.
Yeah.
I bet you if I look, I'll probably own something.
You probably own a Dynex? So, he was telling us, he goes, that's probably, and this is in his words, he just said, it's probably the entry level, meaning it's the bottom in the line of televisions, according to him. So, and we were like looking at it going, well, you really can't tell the difference between the picture and here and here. And then, but I'm like, I want a 1080p. I don't want a 720p. I want a 1080p. I want to be able to get a Blu-ray player one day and watch high-definition content on it. I mean, I've got cable, but I can't watch. You watch it at 720p. It looks great, but it's still not, you could buy a 720p television and it's going to be fine. So, but I wanted to get 1080p, so I thought, well, I'll just keep looking. So we found a brand that is, and I know people are probably going to beat me up for this. It probably is not the best brand. It's called Insignia. And if you are familiar with Best Buy, it's kind of like it's their brand. They put out, if you hear ads for Insignia, you will generally hear, that's generally a Best Buy ad.
Right.
And it's usually, from what I understand, what I've been told, it's kind of their brand. So
if you look on their website, it states it's their brand.
Yeah. So it was a 1080p. They had 120 hertz, which was about $70 more, which probably would have been a better one. But it's 60 hertz, 3 HDMI inputs, I take it back, 4 HDMI inputs, component, a lot of connections. And the only thing it was missing was the internet connectivity, which I really kind of wanted. But I figured, I can put something together that'll give me that internet connectivity with it. It was $339, which is really not a bad deal. I mean, you couldn't get 1080p before for less than, $500, $600, maybe even a little more. Mm-hmm. So we went ahead and settled on that and got that and got it home, and it was a piece of cake to put up, to install and connect up. But that is one of the things. A lot of people assume that they're going to get the 1080p from their cable company, and even with us running Comcast cable, which we love, absolutely, on their HD channels we're getting 720p. Again, it looks great, but the only way we're really going to experience 1080p is either with a camera that's 1080p or a Blu-ray player, which is playing 1080p. But it is. I don't know if you've seen the difference, Slick, between 1080p and 720p. Even it's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's like you're watching a movie that you've seen in the theater, and it looks great on the screen. Mm-hmm. But when you watch a Blu-ray movie in 1080p, it's almost like it's shot on really bright, crisp video. It feels different when you're watching them. It feels like you're right there. It's really cool.
So, I've never really had an opportunity to experience true HD and all that stuff. So I'm like you. Let me tell you my approach to television. And I like watching television, but in general, there haven't really been that many programs on television that I can remember that I would want to purchase a large screen, high definition television for. Most people watch much more television than I would. The last television I bought, new, has a screen about the size like this. No joke. It was color. It was color. I bought it. It was a Radio Shack unit. I'm sure they don't make it anymore, but I got it because it was portable, had a battery pack. It had an 8mm cassette recorder on the top, so I could take it with me into the studio and take it home and sit it in the bed and that kind of thing. But that's the first and only new television I can ever remember purchasing. Otherwise, friends would go, I got this television I'm trying to get rid of, $20, 19 inches, yours, done.
Right.
That was it.
Wow.
I mean, I like watching news and certain shows, but I don't watch as much TV as everybody else. I don't understand how people can do it. There are some how can you? I mean, unless you just really need to veg out and zone out. Even then, I can't sit and watch that crap that's on that long. I can't stand it.
We watch. I don't know about you, but we watch a lot of the reality show stuff. You know, and it's we'll watch like Ghost Hunters, and we'll watch Pawn Stars, and American Pickers, and we like that stuff because it's just like real life. It's real people. And of course we watch Big Bang Theory, and we watch all those other shows as well, like Outsourced, and we have our nights, Monday night, Tuesday. It's sad because what was the show that we were watching on Tuesdays? We were all yapping about it and happy about it. No Ordinary Family. To me, it's gone the way of Heroes.
It's not really doing it. I love the premise, love the idea of the show, but it's the stories aren't holding me for some.
No.
Maybe it's the way they're executing the episodes,
and
too.
I don't know. It's not giving me a reason to go back. That's the whole thing, Lost was, for me, it was like a reason to watch every weekend. It was like, wait, how did they do this? What did they do here? I kind of like that. So, I mean, it doesn't have that same feel. Wednesday nights now, they've got this new show. It's called Blue Bloods with Tom Selleck. It was on Friday nights, and it was number one in its time slot. And they're moving it to Wednesday nights, which is great because it's a really well done show. Tom Selleck, Donnie Wahlberg, Jennifer Esposito. I mean, a really good cast on this show. So hopefully, because I like a good drama, and that's one we can watch. Desperate Housewives has just gotten stupid. I like the show, but it's gotten stupid.
Yeah, I never watched Desperate Housewives. A lot of bandwagons I just don't jump on. Like on you're talking about there's no ordinary no ordinary family. The reason, I guess I could admit to. I don't think I do, but maybe I do. I think I have a man crush on Michael Chiklis. I love his work. I loved him in the Fantastic Four. Loved him. I didn't like the Commish, but I got drawn in with the Shield. The Shield. Yeah.
Oh,
then I really started paying attention. Huh?
Look, all of a sudden you said the Shield, and you just stuck there. It was like we lost you in space somewhere.
Yeah, there's been some glitching back and forth here. Sometimes you've been freezing too for me.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know if you remember Michael Chiklis. He also portrayed Curly in that Three Stooges.
I was just going to say, who produced that?
Yeah.
Mel Gibson.
Who? Did he?
Yeah, Mel Gibson did that.
I think he pulled, to my surprise, he pulled off Curly. I didn't think he was going to be able to do it, but he did.
Yeah, it was like a poignant Curly. You felt sorry for Curly. Curly went through some real crap when he was alive. Dropped from the show because of his issues. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did a good job of that. And then there was the one he did, Life Goes On. Wasn't that his first series? He played Didn't he play the dad? And Teresa Saldana was the mom, and Chris, can't remember. He was the young actor with Down syndrome, and he was in that. Corky, played Corky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I think he was the dad.
Did
in that
he
show.
play? Wait a minute. Did I remember?
Wait, maybe
I know what show you're talking about now, but was he an adult or a child in that show?
I thought he was the dad, but now I'm thinking maybe he wasn't the dad.
We'll all have to hit IMDb.
Yeah, now I'm wondering. Somebody hit IMDb and let Slick know.
But before we get off television real quick,
right.
if everyone hasn't had a chance to see this, I'll tell you, it starts out slow. At least for me, for the first 35 minutes, it was slow. But I think I'm going to be a fan. I believe I'm going to be a fan. A new show started last week, and it started on Broadcast Network, and then they were replaying it on some of the cable networks. And I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's coming up again tomorrow. Do the search. It's been on like USA Today and Sci-Fi, and it's going to be on some others. There's a new show called The Cape.
Oh yeah, how was that? I didn't see it.
Yeah, what they have been doing, I don't know if it's going to continue, but what they have been doing is it had its debut on NBC on the NBC network, and they did the first hour was the first episode, and right behind it they played the second episode, and that's the way they have done it so far throughout the cable channels. But I don't think that's what's going to happen upcoming on an upcoming cable channel. But like I said, to me, it's slow in the beginning. So the first 35 minutes you're probably going to go, I don't know if I can stick. Try to stick. Because I find once he gets trained, I don't want to give it away, but once he gets trained, once he gets embedded with the people who are going to help him be the Cape, for me it gets good. So if you've got nothing better to do, even if you try to make an effort to see it and hang in there, I think it'll. And in all fairness, at least you might like it. There's a good chance you're going to like it.
Oh, cool! I want to see that. I like shows. I like those shows like that, the superhero type shows, if they're done well. I want to go see Green Hornet. I really do. But like everybody's been saying, they can't picture. They can't picture these two as Kato with the Green Hornet. But, I guess you have to give it a chance. People said the same thing about Spider-Man.
Well, I was anti-Green Hornet right off the bat, just based on what I had heard. Not on what I'd seen anything, but the way they were presenting it to us, just made me anti-Green Hornet. And I'll tell you why. Now, I consider myself a fan of the Green Hornet. I have a hard time watching the old Green Hornet shows because they really weren't as good as I really wanted them to be. No. Loved Bruce Lee. But there was something about, I don't know, it just didn't grab me as a kid, but it stuck with me as a kid through adulthood. So I think it was Sci-Fi. They had a Green Hornet marathon. And I tried to stick through and watch every episode. Couldn't do it, but I still have a big affection for the program. Okay.
Right.
Sometime last week, one of the cable channels had a half-hour special on the Green Hornet movie.
Ooh.
And they showed how they were making it and some of the adjustments they were making to the storyline and the character and that kind of thing. Sold. Okay, you sold me. I will be willing now to sit down. I will be willing to pay to watch the Green Hornet movie in a theater now. Because, and I don't think I'm giving anything away. Here's what they did. The guy who's playing Kato, he's not going to do Kato as Bruce Lee. Now, Bruce Lee's Kato was smart. He was strong. In my view, if you look at the television show, Bruce Lee was the hero. He did everything.
Right.
He got to drive the cool car. He got to press all the buttons. What did the Green Hornet do? Nothing. He got beat up.
Kato did it all.
So, and that's kind of what they're taking for the Green Hornet movie, which I think is a good thing. Now, the Kato in the movie, he's going to be a smart aleck. He's going to be technical gizwiz kind of thing. Gizwiz. Sorry about that, Dick DiBartolo. So I just kind of flowed off.
Gizwiz, yeah.
So he's going to be a tech whiz. And the Seth Rogen guy, who I'm not a big fan of, never really followed a lot of his work. I think he's going to pull it off. He's going to play Britt Reed, the spoiled rich kid, kind of, who has no skills and no business even trying to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
And Kato's going to save his butt every time. I think it's going to work. I really do think it's going to work, to my surprise.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how it does. It opened, I think, yesterday. And I still want to go see Tron. I want to see Tron in 3D. Yeah. I saw that trailer that they did, and I know Raven's been a huge fan of that. But now I want to see that in 3D and see how that one comes out.
Yeah, I want to see Tron only because Wally. We have to go see it for Wally, who is a member of our show. You can see his bio on TechtalkRadio.com on the website. And Wally's no longer with us. But that's why I want to see Tron. Want to see Green Hornet because of I've always been a big fan. I was a fan of Kato, but I think I was more of a fan of the Black Beauty. I love that car.
Black Beauty? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I got to see the car first. It was much cooler than the Batmobile.
Well,
Batmobile punk.
Aren't you glad, though, that they haven't taken that car and totally made it something else, and they've actually, they've kind of kept it, I want to say almost retro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
That is cool.
And even some of the way that the car leaves the compound, it's very reminiscent of the television show, but they added a little twist to it. I won't give it away. When you see it, you'll go, "Oh yeah, come on!" So you'll see that. Let's see, movies, television. Oh, speaking of television, real quick, let me throw this out. Let me find my note because I just found out about this morning. So here we go again. For those of you probably in the eastern part of this country of ours, United States of America, looks like Time Warner Cable and the Sinclair Broadcast Group are going at it. So some of you could potentially, now maybe not today, could lose your Fox, CBS, and ABC affiliates because they're fighting back and forth for fees and payments and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens.
I had some guy try to sell me, Slick, when we went to go buy our television. He tried to sell me DirecTV, and he works there, and that's they make money on that. And so I told him at first I was kind of messing with the guy, I told him I worked for Comcast, and then finally he comes over and I said, dude, I was just messing with you. I don't really work for Comcast. He goes, well, what do you do? And I said, I'm a disc jockey. And we started yapping. And I told him, I said, I am, I don't really know what DirecTV is all about. I know my mom has it in Huntington Beach. Mm. And whenever I go to visit her, the channel lineup is kind of weak. But she pays, I think, maybe, $30 a month. She pays for something in that area. We're paying $80 a month for our cable service through Comcast. But again, I'm really happy with the channels. Plus, I get G4.
Well, did you compare the 80 versus the 80 on DirecTV and Comcast to see what the channel lineup differences were? Or?
Yeah. The one thing is with Comcast, I get the Encore channel, which I like, and I get movies. I like the choice I have. Even though I don't watch all of them, it's like I like the choices. With the DirecTV lineup, it didn't look like there was as much, and it was, you got a 2-year contract you got to do. You got the equipment that has to be installed. To me, it just didn't feel like it was going to work for me. But there are people I know that swear by it. I mean, if I ever did move, I would stay with Comcast Internet. Nothing beats that Internet service, at least right now, for me, because that's the area I'm in. I would not go DSL. People keep telling me, oh, no, give DSL another chance. It's great. I think
No, who said this?
I've had people tell me, oh, no, you got to give DSL another chance. It's great. People, it's fast and it works.
Quest DSL?
Yeah.
Have they lost their mind? I'm on Quest. I only recommend it to people who don't have any other option. No.
No, I can't go less than 2 megabit, 2 megabyte downloads. I can't do that. The radio station that I do some work with, they opted to go with a private carrier that buys bandwidth and has a satellite service. And his satellite delivers the internet content to the radio station. They're getting 4 megs down and 4 megs up. Now, the 4 megs up I like. That's pretty good. But I'm getting better than that with cable. And I think paying in an area, I think I'm paying $65 a month for my internet. That works best for me. I mean, that's the better plan. So I don't know. I'm sold on cable. I'd have a incredibly hard time going back to anything slower. The dial-up, don't even give. Do they still have dial-up? Especially out here, you can still get dial-up. You get net zero. No way.
Yeah. As always, you have to shop around and compare the prices and options in your area, whether it be DSL or cable or whatever. Here, I'm using Quest 1.5 down DSL because I don't have a choice. Yeah. The best I could do where I'm at, because you have to get over a mountain to get to me. The best I can do is 3 megabits down on Quest DSL. Comcast is available here, but I don't get to make that choice. I would prefer to go with the Comcast cable because, personally, I've had much better experience with cable internet access. When I was living in the city, I had Cox, and I was very happy with it. And I guess I was paying at the time, I was paying $50 a month for, and this was a while ago, 3 megabits down. I don't know what it is now. And Quest has been touting, which I think is, to me, it seems that they're doing some deceptive advertising, but they're not lying. When they have this new ad campaign running where they go, Quest HD service. Oh, well, HD means heavy duty is what it stands for them.
Well, this guy was trying to tell me that we don't get true HD, and almost made it seem like with satellite service we would get 1080p. You can't, right? I mean, I don't believe you can
get 1080p on
1080p off. Well, I know you can on cable, but he was trying to make it seem like with satellite delivered content you could. And I don't.
The best
he never
I've
really
seen
said
down.
That. What's that?
No, I was just going to say the best I've seen down on satellite is, and I got to pick it on one service because I've only found one service. It's the Hughes satellite, 1.5 down, and that was like 70, 80. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking $100 a month for that.
Right. Well, Randy is saying that in the chat room that you actually can get 1080p on Dish, and that his Dish network with 180 channels cost him $75 a month. He gets Encore, G4, BBC America, and Sci-Fi, and that's the thing. The whole idea is with Dish, if you want to have G4, they didn't have the problems that DirecTV had, correct? So I mean, they're still okay. But maybe no local channels, which then you just put a HD antenna up, and then you get the or not HD, a digital antenna up, and you get the digital channels. I think that's the way it would work.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember for what you get, because there's no HD in around here, no HD channel service here, because there's no HD televisions around. I don't know. And then again, depending on what I'm watching, depends. Like you're saying, if I saw HD, maybe I'd be very impressed and never want to go back to standard def. I don't know. For the most part, I'm okay for standard. I can only think of certain things I would want to watch in AD. News, maybe. I'm a fan of news, but I don't need it in HD.
Right.
Maybe, some theatrical content would be nice. Some I don't need it all.
Yeah.
Man.
You don't want to see Tom McNamara's makeup looking really good?
No. And that's the other thing too. I mean, I'm the kind of person that I've always tried to be this kind of person. That's probably why I'm where I'm at. I don't need cable and I don't need satellite. I can get a television off the shelf with a couple of rabbit ears and I'm good. I force myself to live, Trojan-esque, as it were.
Trojan-esque.
And I don't mean like drugstore Trojan-esque. I mean like Spartan-esque is what I'm talking.
Oh, okay. You had me lost there. I figured I've heard you're more of a Magnum guy.
That's right. That's what she said.
The show just took a wide left turn.
Reel it back in.
All right. I want to ask you. We move a little from television. I was watching you on Steve's show from Thursday. Is it Thursday or Tuesday? It was Thursday, and I noticed that Steve really thought that 3D television was huge at CES. At least in his intro, he was touting 3D TV. However, a lot of the people I've talked to that were at CES are really saying no, 3D TV is gonna go away because the glasses are just too bulky. People can't wear them for an extended length of time. That it's not ready for prime time.
Yeah, Thursday was the show. I hear, and I hope he's not paying attention watching our program.
If he is, he understands.
The channel. He is. My takeaway from it, not for him, but I mean just in general, is that people weren't really impressed or even thinking about HD TV. Maybe he was, but I think other people was just like, last year,
Yeah.
And that was my takeaway on it. Tablets were the buzzword. However, the buzz on tablets was pretty bad.
Yeah. I think the main problem with tablets that people are having is really cost, isn't it? I mean, cost for the consumer. That consumers are looking at laptops for $299 that can do everything a tablet can do, and then they're looking at tablets for $500-600 going,
well, like I think I told you last week, the only tablet I saw that caught my interest was that NEC LTW that's potentially coming towards the end of the year. It's the dual screen tablet.
Right.
All the others to me were just a tablet.
Mm-hmm. What do they offer differently? Now, Maximum PC this morning, Maximum PC put out a list of the top technologies that'll be gone by 2020, and we're only 9 years away from that. And number one on the list was 3D television. And it's possible that they will come up with something different. Will they ever come up with a 3D television where we won't need glasses?
I think we need to canvass to take a survey from just a general public in general, because if I'm a part of the mass public right now, current television situation, I don't think we haven't even saturated the everybody with HD TV at this point. I don't believe so. I don't see HD TV everywhere. So they can, you can tout 3D TV, that's fine, but if you're trying to push it on the masses, I think you're going to fail. I think you got a big fail coming. I think, especially with the economy too. Right. I mean, we're looking, my guesstimation, I don't think people are going to be willing to spend reasonable money on 3D TV for another 5 years. Why would they?
Exactly. Why? And the technology is going to change. We're going to get better pictures. So I would as a consumer, if I was going to buy a new type of entertainment device, rather than going out and spending $3,900, I'd rather spend $900 and get an internet-connected television, buy a Sony, Move, PlayStation, a PlayStation Move, I should say, maybe an Xbox Kinect, something the whole family could sink their teeth into, and have that. I mean, that's going to make for a better experience for that person. I think the people that are buying that are the same people who are buying, the 100-inch televisions or the 83-inch television. Sorry, John. It's more come on over and see what I've got. It's more of a show type of technology. Let me show you what I got. Bigger is always better, depending on who you are. Where 37-inch television will look phenomenal.
Mm. And then, like last week during our show last week, I said I was going to give it a week because I always like to. It's been my experience that with CES, after CES ends on that weekend, I need to give it a week to gather my thoughts and then take a look and see what other people thought about CES and everything else. And
right.
I did it again today, and I looked around, and I didn't take away anything really new, different opinions or anything than what we talked about last week. I mean, I got nothing new unless people are just trying to take a week and recoup and then maybe going to post something new or some new thoughts, new videos later. CES was good, not great. Nothing against the CES people. It's just that there was nothing to jump up and down and scream about as far as I can tell. Nothing.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
I mean, there's a good tablet. There's the Zoom tablet, but other than that, and that looked really good, but other than that, there's nothing to parade around about. Nothing.
Well, our buddy Jim Barry will be coming to town probably in the next couple of weeks. I think maybe towards the end of the month, maybe into next month. I'm actually going to try and see if there's a way we can get him in here on a Saturday and bring the gadgets that he brings with him. Now, last time he came in, I was on the air at KOLD, so I was able to take him to the TV station. We showed off some really cool stuff. This year, we're not doing the thing on KOLD. I'm looking for a new partner maybe to do something with here in town. But I think maybe we can bring him here. If we can get him here on a Saturday, have him show the stuff on an internet cast like this, I think that would be great. Because then we're not rushed by the constraints of broadcast television. Got to be off in a minute.
Yeah.
And then
is it something? Is it possible that if he comes to town, can we go to him?
Oh yeah, definitely. No matter where we are, that's the nice thing about this is we can take our cameras to him. Even if I had him come to even on the radio station, I'm limited because I'm on a music station. They don't want and I've done that before with Jim, and I got slapped on the hand for it. Oh, well, that was uninteresting, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Our target audience is male. We were, it was when I was at the rock station in town. Our target audience was male. They are the ones who like talking about big screen TVs. They like talking about gadgets, but they were always like, well, because the owner, the general manager, I should say, didn't understand that and had enough money to buy 7, 150-inch plasma screens. He didn't give a rip. So you didn't think about the average consumer. So that's why I think the internet would be a great way for us to do something with Jim. So I'm hoping. I know he's coming to town, so we're hoping we can show off some of that cool stuff. Let him go do the TV thing, and let him go on with Jim Parisi. I know he goes on with Jim, but then maybe he'll come be a part of Tech Talk Radio too.
Well, you can't talk to Jim before he talks to us. He was ours first.
He was ours.
Don't make me have to go over to Jim Parisi's house. Don't make me have to go over there, Jim. Yeah. In case he's watching or whatever, Jim.
Yeah, Jim secretly watches us, I think.
Let me reference the chat room here. Now, there have been some complaints about the chat room on techtalkradio.com/live, and I suggested they refresh, and I guess some people have been able to get in, others we're not going to be able to resolve that now, but people are in and posting comments, so it works. I know it works. I'm in and all that. Randy's in there, and he posted a comment about iPad, iPhone, Android, stuff like that, and the economy as well as CES. Yeah, let's see. Let's touch on this now because it happened after our show. Tuesday, Verizon announced the iPhone, I guess February 20th.
Yeah.
We will see because there have been some comments, which are probably true. I haven't heard anything from Verizon, so I don't know, but it's quite possible. Somebody was saying, I think it was probably Steve, maybe, that maybe Verizon might put some of their proprietary stuff on top of the iOS and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of okay with that. This takes me back to the discussion that we usually have about computers coming with, bloatware. I don't mind manufacturers giving me a computer with bloatware on CDs and DVDs. Don't install it. Let me install it. I'll install it if I want the bloatware.
Yeah, usually the first thing I'll do, and I've had the customers that have had me, they've hired me and said, "Can you come streamline my computer? We just bought a new one." That's the first thing we'll do. We'll look at it and go, "You want this? You want this? You want this? No, I don't know. I don't want games. I don't want this." We just remove all of that stuff, and then they have a better experience. And then I always recommend System Mechanics because that gets rid of a lot of the crap that's left behind. You know, that's the thing. I don't like you said. Why have vendors done that for so long? Manufacturers done that for so long, where they install it all. Give the consumer just the basic. Give them Windows. That's all they want. If you're buying a Windows system, and then give them a disk with all the extras.
Yeah, it's not to say that people, because either way, if you think putting it on the computer at the first boot is helping you, it's not. It's really not. You're leaving a bad taste in people's mouths, and they don't forget. They don't forget, and we don't let them forget. So stop it.
Yeah.
Let's see, iPad. Well, the iPad 2's coming. I don't have really a whole lot to say about that when we get to it.
I don't know.
Wait till we get to it.
Would you spend, if you had $549, would you spend it on an iPad? Yeah, if we're talking about buying a gadget, buying some kind of technology.
I disagree, and this is because, and let me just say this: I love you, Apple. We love you.
Yeah.
It's just that my review of, and again, I've still got my personal review of the iPod Touch hanging over my head. That I had some differences as to some of my brethren in the tech world. I found, and I'm surprised my brethren didn't mention this.
Yeah.
And it just bothers me that they didn't. I used an iPod Touch with a Windows computer and found things that I could not do, and it annoyed me. And my brethren didn't mention it. So I feel either they held their tongue or they were kissing some butt.
Ouch.
And so I have a personal problem with my brethren, not Apple, but my brethren.
Are you talking about me? Are you talking about me?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, you didn't review the iPod Touch. I did.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about other major tech reviewers in the nation who seem to always get stuff first.
Yeah. Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And give reviews of that. It's a nice color blue, and that's it.
Well, that goes with the old, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, but that does nothing for the consumer.
I mentioned all the good stuff in our blog about it. There's a lot of good stuff about it, but I also mentioned things that people should know before they lay their money down.
Right.
Because I expected things, certain features, to work with Windows, and they don't.
Right.
And I mentioned them. So that's what I'm afraid of with the iPad. I'm afraid with the iPad is I'm going to have the similar experience with the iPod Touch I had, which is, and I'll mention just off the top of my head, calendar, notes, and contacts did not work as I expected them to out of the box.
Yeah.
They did not sync easily. I mean, it wasn't like an experience that I've had with the old Palm PDA units, the Palm TX and LifeDrive. There is software that came with those units where if it didn't work with the software you had the Palm desktop, where you can put in contacts and calendar and notes, and it would sync with the user, and you can back it up. That wasn't possible with the iPod Touch with Windows, and I don't expect it to be possible with the iPad. So that's keeping me away from the iPad.
My main thing is cost. It's like every Apple product that I see. I love it. I would love to get into it. Seriously, I think it would be a blast. I'm just put together a video production system, and my boss, I was trying to get my boss to do some trade to pick up an Apple. I thought this would be fun to just get an iMac and start working on an Apple. But when he looked at it, he said it would have been too much money, whereas we can put together a PC version a lot cheaper and do just as well for what we need it for. So what can you do?
And just so it's said, just so you know, I'm not an Apple hater or anything like that. If I could afford to buy the big 27-inch iMac, and if I could afford to buy the MacBook, the 17-inch MacBook Pro, I'd have had them a long time ago. If I could afford to buy a MacBook Air, they are great. Yeah. They are wonderful. However, I got to look at how I work and what I can afford and how it integrates with other stuff. I mean, I can't just go plunk down money I don't have on Apple products that don't work with the other stuff I got. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Well, me, I've always thought I've always thought the iPad was a little too much. Well, number one, cost-wise. And I always thought, why would you do it? But you know what I do find? And maybe this would be a reason I might like the iPad and maybe start using it, is when I'm laying in bed and I don't want to get up. I don't want to go to the computer. I will just grab that iPod Touch that I have, and I will use that. Check out email, Facebook, whatever. Think about how we got our Twitter message last Saturday about the shooting here in Tucson was from KOLD on Twitter, which is our local news station. So, I mean, all of that, it all plays in, it's all a matter of convenience. More and more people are getting this stuff on their phone, though, doing the Twitter on the phone. They're doing the droids, which give, full access to websites and all of that. So you get all of those features. I'm still not entirely happy that you can't get, flash features with the iPhone, but I'm sure that at some point web designers are going to change that so you get the full video and everything else. I want to show you something that we did get in today. We got it in yesterday. We sent back the other phones to Sprint, and we really love those. We'll have full reviews posted. Actually, it was one phone and the Peel, so I'll have those posted. But I wanted to show you the new phone I got. And I want you to see what was on the front of the box for this phone. This is a new phone from Sprint. It's called the Sanyo Taho, or Taho. You see the note, what it says?
Kick it around?
Kick it around. This is from my guy Randy, who works at Sprint, that hooked us up with this.
Yeah. What does Randy mean by kick it around?
Well, that's what I wondered. I thought, take it for test drive and start playing it until I opened the box and I looked at the phone. Let me show you this phone. This phone has been kicked around. You see that? Look at the marks that are on the phone. It really has been kicked around, and he means it when he says kick it around. This is a military-grade type of phone, perfect for somebody in the field that works in construction, law enforcement, anything. If they're just prone to being Mr. Bean could use his phone and not damage it. And that's exactly what it is. I mean, it's a phone, no big, huge screen. It's sturdy as all can be. I can drop it on the table, and it's still working.
So smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh, yeah. No.
I mean, I really like the fact that I can do that. And that's basically what it's all about. It's a phone that will continue working even when you mishandle it. Now, let me see what some of the specs are, and I'm going to go through it. It doesn't have that big, we're so used to those screens, those sliders, the whole bit. It does have a camera on it still, 2-megapixel camera, GPS navigation capable, Sprint messaging capable, has a speakerphone, and has a military standard design with immersion. What does that mean? Does that mean you can drop it in water?
Don't know. So what does it say it again?
It says with immersion, rugged military standard design.
Yeah. You can drop it. You can drop it in water, and it should be fine.
Wow, it's pretty cool looking. I like it. Anyway,
it reminds me of the of a Boost mobile phone I used to have, because at one point, remember, Boost and Sprint and Nextel, same company, and still are really well.
Yeah.
That reminds me of one of my favorite phones that I've had on Boost service. I mean, it was real basic and clean, and I was able to navigate around real fast and stuff. I love that one.
Yeah, that's what I kind of wonder. Maybe that going back to something like this, I don't know, for somebody who's used a smartphone, if this would really work for him. You know what I mean? Maybe not. But for somebody who's working in construction and wants something that's going to last, because there's nothing worse than broken phones, man. My daughters are like they're like the gorillas on the American Tourister ads. Gloria's looking at me like, what? They'll break anything. They break stuff faster than you could. I fixed that Xbox 360 for my daughter, and I told her, I said, go a little easy with it. Within 2 days, it was red ringing again. I'm like, what did you do to it?
Was that Scarlett?
Yes, that's Scarlett.
Yeah, that girl's a gamer.
Yeah,
she's like rough on stuff.
I told her, I said, you should talk to Judy Nails. And she's like, who's that? I'm like, you played Judy Nails on Guitar Hero. She's like, because she's been on our show before. She's a friend of mine. Yeah. And I'm a friend of hers on Facebook. She's a friend of mine. How many people do that? Anyway.
Scarlet kills.
Kind of funny. Hold on. Let's see if I can get Gloria mad at me. Coffee.
But ring the bell for me, too.
Slick needs some. You have to drive out to Picture Rocks.
It ain't that far.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you. I didn't get a chance to tune in for the whole show with Steve. What other things did he? I mean, other than meeting, Leo, and other than mentioning how Chris Perillo is short, how is there any other things that he saw that he thought were pretty cool?
Let me think. I'm trying to remember what else stood out from. For the most part, I'm trying to think. It was really kind of like meeting people, companies and stuff that he's networked with. There's the studio. They gave him kind of like a booth studio there. He was still, I guess, Mama Tech, his better half.
Yeah.
I tried to warn him, Andy. I tried to
the walking.
Tips. Yeah. Yeah. She got her feet hurt. And I guess Mama Tech noticed, as well as he, I guess some women at CS walking around in heels. Some were, there at the booths, but others, you don't wear. It's like there's no crying in baseball. You don't wear heels at CES. What are you thinking?
Oh my God! You wear combat boots.
Huh?
You wear combat boots.
Yeah, well, I thought they were going to do like, back in the East, where I'm from in D.C., it's a regular thing where women, you go back and forth to work in tennis shoes or whatever, and you wear the heels around the office. And
right.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else was he talking about that he was impressed by? There was some there was some problem for him that I guess the maps in the books, the directories that told you where a person's booth was and how to get to places, they weren't all that correct.
No.
As well as the app that you download to help you get around, that wasn't all that correct. And when he stopped at information booths to get some assistance, they didn't necessarily know anything about CES.
Oh. As
well as when he made the phone call to the 24-hour hotline to get some help. He said they answered and everything. They were helpful.
Right.
But at least twice they gave him the wrong set of keys to the
Well, don't you remember a couple years ago we were going to go broadcast on a Sunday morning, and we couldn't find the right people. We finally said, forget it, and we went to IHOP, and we broadcast from IHOP. Do you remember that?
We did do a show from IHOP. Yes, we did. I remember that.
I got to find that show on Ustream. I think we did save it.
There sometimes at CES, Andy will reach his threshold, and nobody else will know it but Andy. But you'll know it when all of a sudden you're in the car with Andy, and he's going, "We're going to IHOP. We're going to eat." Then you'll know. Sometimes it's just like there's no warning. You just have to find out and just have to go in and go, okay. Because I remember that we also, there was one where we just kind of gave up. We pulled around the back doors and couldn't get in. You said, we're leaving. We just drove away. We drove away from CES.
Well, I think we would have had to, here's the deal. I think we would have had to have walked from the parking lot on the other side of the convention center with all of our equipment. And we still may have gotten there and not gotten in. And we had passes, but nobody knew who we were supposed to see, where we were supposed to go. Because when you're broadcasting from there, you're generally broadcasting before CES opens. And that was just, Well, breakfast was good, right?
Actually, it was tasty.
Didn't you have the chocolate pancakes? Was it you?
It was probably me.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna. Yeah, I've never had them before. I wanted to give them a try. I like pancakes and I like chocolate.
That worked. I want to show you the note Gloria just handed me. Gone fishing. I guess I'm not getting my coffee.
You may need to go fishing to get your coffee in that case.
Yeah.
I suppose.
All right. So
I did dig up some more information about like tablets at CES. Well, it was more of a commentary. It was posted on Wired.com.
Okay.
And I'll kind of breeze through this, and this kind of leads into, unless you're going in a different direction, this kind of leads into a couple of subjects about Microsoft. Really, the title of the post is "Windows Ill-Suited to Touchscreens, New Tablets Show," and they were addressing one tablet from Acer and another from ASUS, says, together they show potential and the limitations of a Windows-based tablet strategy. Tablets show just how wrong-headed Microsoft's plan to use Windows for everything is. Windows interface not designed for touchscreens, which was immediately obvious after spending a few minutes with both of the tablets. In practice, it is difficult to use. Applications for Windows don't understand that they may be stretched across two screens, so you can't extend your workspace. Some controls, like the corners of Windows, are difficult to grab with a finger. On-screen keyboard, far more challenging than a traditional mechanical one. And in the one sentence it says, Microsoft would do well to focus its tablet efforts on Windows Phone 7, a mobile operating system that's built for touchscreens and has a lot going for it.
Whoa, man.
Because also there's been some discussion, there were some whispers about it off to the side, but I think Steve even mentioned on his program that he didn't really see some, if that many, or if any, Windows 7 tablets. Maybe there was one that was really obvious to the entire CES show.
So what everybody's using, what are they using then?
Probably Droid, and Droid with, some kind of, maybe some overlay stuff on it. Because Droid, of Windows 7 on tablets and iPad, Droid is the most open tablet operating system. I would go with Droid anyway. Because of the iPhone, iPad store, App Store. Right. And I haven't really heard anything about Windows Phone 7 really, or even Windows for tablets that interests me and intrigues me. But I know with Android being more open than them, I should be able to find something that'll satisfy me on the Android platform.
Something. That's the nice thing about the apps. You're going to find something that's going to please you depending on what you want to do. That's what I love about the apps. And I don't know, Microsoft just seems to be touting their phone, it seems like, because they're Microsoft. That's the whole thing. Now, I was going to ask you, do any of these, I don't know about the phone device, is the phone device using Office 2010? Is it using kind of that same technology, and will it sync up to your computer? I haven't used one yet, and I'd like to see if we can get one, but we have to go through AT&T, I guess, to get one, to see really just how cool this device is.
Yeah, I don't know. We have not been able to get a Windows Phone 7 devices in, so we can try and talk about them, review them, give an opinion, even educate our audiences on them. So until that happens, I don't plan on really talking that much about it. Yeah. I mean, except for this one other article I want to go to here in a bit. I don't know if you heard or not, but this is a... Huh?
I was going to say, I would have thought that, seriously, the Verizon having the iPhone is probably going to be huge for people. But and I know we kind of already chatted about that, but I did want to kind of bring it back to this. All right. A lot of people are saying that, especially that are on the Verizon network now, what is this going to do to their network? And I guess that's been the big concern that Verizon has had, is once they add the iPhone in population, and Verizon's saying they've been testing it for about a year, what's going to happen to their network as people are jumping onto it and using it, and now suddenly going, oh, wait a minute, I can have it on Verizon. And Verizon is, as some people will say, has a better network, depending on where you live, than maybe AT&T.
Yeah. So I read that commentary and those concerns. And I did mention it just just offhand. I mentioned it to Steve to get his, because he's got an iPhone and all that kind of stuff. Right. And he didn't seem all that concerned about it, which is fine. I just don't know whether whether it's a true concern coming or not. But Steve didn't seem all that concerned about it. But what Andy is saying now is that there was some concerns and commentaries out there that if you get all these people jumping off the AT&T network, jumping on Verizon, is it going to make that network slow and bog down that performance and all that kind of stuff, and at the same time potentially speed up the AT&T network because all these people are bailing off of that network. And like I said, Steve doesn't think it's going to work out that way, and maybe not, because the more I think about it, it may sound logical, but I get a feeling that people bailing off of the AT&T network is not going to make it better, faster, or anything like that. I think he's right about that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, too, about their network decision is this is not, from what I understand, a exclusive deal. It's not now saying, okay, well, AT&T is exclusive and now Verizon is exclusive. It's just they've jumped over it. And I'm wondering how long will it be till we see maybe Sprint jumping over and carrying the iPhone then. Sprint has seen tremendous success with the Droid. I just wonder would they even think about going with the iPhone.
Yeah, why not? I'm sure they want to get in the game. Everybody wants in the game on the iPhone. From what I know, without having hands on, I mean, and from when I'm an outsider looking in on all of these platforms, Android, all of them, I would love to have an iPhone 4. It looks like fun. Looks like there's a lot of you could have a ball on that phone.
Yeah.
Probably so true also with Android, but as the word has been, the iPhone 4 and the iPhones have been fun and they're great, and so we'll see.
Well, the next iPhone, not iPhone, but even iPhone, but the next Droid device that we get in, I promise you, Slick, you'll get it. We haven't actually seen each other
long enough for us both to really go through them.
Yeah,
but, you really go through it all the way, and me to go through it all the way.
Well, we haven't seen each other face to face for almost a month, so I think that has something to do with it too. You
do miss me, don't you? Go ahead. I know she's not in the room. Go ahead, Gloria's not in the room. Go ahead.
I miss you, Slick.
I knew it. I'll call you later.
Now, did Steve give you his thoughts of Showstoppers? Because he didn't know about Showstoppers. We recommended him, and we actually got in touch with Steve Leone at Showstoppers and told him, "Hey, this kid's really cool. He's doing some good things." And he ended up going. Did he like that event?
He loved it. And I guess his experience was different than ours because when you and I have done Showstoppers, we've had a stage. And what they do is it's a big ballroom, and in the middle of the ballroom, all the exhibitors and stuff, they bring the device and stuff. They set up booths. Well, not full booths, but like tables. And you can go around and see stuff like that. Now, around the edges, you'll have a stage. You have stages where people can set up. Tech Talk Radio has a stage. CNET has a stage. CBS. I mean, all the way around. And we set up our equipment. We broadcast live from there. Well, Steve had this portable pack that he was broadcasting from. I expected when he got signed up for Showstoppers that he was going to get a stage.
Right.
But he doesn't remember seeing a stage. He doesn't remember being assigned a stage. So he walked around Showstoppers, which was fine for him because the way he was set up, it worked out fine. So his experience was different than ours, but so he got to walk around 2 tables. But he loved it,
He did? Good.
Good.
Yeah,
he did love it.
I'm glad. I almost like, I like Showstoppers, almost liked it as much as CES Unveiled.
Did we go to CES Unveiled?
Yeah, we did. The last year that we went. We did do that.
What? I don't remember what that looked like.
It was, similar to but take Showstoppers and compartmentalize it down to about 25% the size, and that's what it is. When it was just booths just set up where you can walk through and show some of the coolest new stuff. When you go on the floor of CES, you're walking around, you're looking at all this, just a wide variety of stuff from car radios to Stannis, which is out there with their TV mounts and stereo recorders and. Everything. Silk screening devices for your home. Anything that's electronic. Even sewing machines are out there, What is the one we saw this year? We thought Whirlpool was going to be there with dishwashers now that could be programmed. And, Schlag is always out there showing off door lock. It's just expansive. Well, CES Unveiled is kind of a small version of that, so you can find all the new stuff very quick. Very easily, and I kind of like that. I like that. I like Showstoppers easier because it's easier to find stuff, but I'm sure there's some hidden gems at CES that you don't stumble upon.
Yeah, Randy in the chat room reminded me that there was a device that Steve saw that he really liked, and I had forgotten. I'd forgotten about it. There are, I don't know why. Maybe I've forgotten about it just because I'm waiting for it to happen. There were some glasses that allowed you to change your prescription on the fly.
Whoa, and really?
According to Randy, he says you stroked the frame, but I didn't remember the description from Steve. I just remember the glasses were able to change prescription.
Oh, wow. Now that's kind of cool.
But that kind of reminds me of now before they were shown this year at CES. See, we've talked about that here in Tucson, Arizona for probably a year, maybe 2 years, because I know that the U of A had announced that technology a while ago. Glasses that change. Is it glasses that do change prescription? Because I was waiting for the big announcement as to when I can get them.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind bifocals. I don't have bifocals. These are readers. But you and I have been in need of new glasses and new eye exams for years.
Let me show you this.
I mean, it's really hurting.
You see that's holding my glasses together. Gloria put Bondo on this. I told her to put little antennas, and I'll tell people it's like a USB device. And then like this end is missing the plastic.
Looks like you connected. Maybe the Mission Impossible glasses.
I got these in 1997, and I have not had an eye exam or change since then. I need to. And matter of fact, I'm next Saturday, and I guess we could show note here. There won't be a show next Saturday because I'm shooting the TV pilot on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. But I'm actually thinking about. I was telling Gloria I'm not going to wear these during the show, and she's like, "But you're going to be squinting the whole time." And I said, "No, I'm just going to leave them off, and then hopefully I won't have to read anything." I got my script yesterday, but I'll memorize that. But I'm not going to have to read anything. So she's thinking I should just go buy a cheap pair just in case,
Yeah, I'm at the point now to where, because I can't afford the eye exam and the glasses myself, and these are readers, so I went the cheapest I could get when I did go for them. Plus, I needed to be able to look. I had tried different types of bifocals, and working in the radio studio that I was working in, radio studios. What they did, you got your audio board down here, and then maybe some papers and stuff you get to look at. But then they put these monitors. Here, let me do. Yeah, so you'd be looking at the audio board here and working the devices, whatever. But they put the monitors up here.
Right.
So now I have to look up. But with my bifocals, in order for me to read them, I had to not only look up but then tilt back.
Oh my!
So I could, So that's why I went with these readers, because they were just consistent. And then, if I didn't need them, I just look over the top like that.
That's a good idea.
So now that I'm not working in a studio like that, I'm going to go back to, hopefully, because I like the real estate. I'll go for the big eyeglass bifocals when I can get them.
Are you going to do the old Hollywood agent ones, like the really big ones?
I'm afraid I'm going to start looking like Lou Wasserman. I'm afraid I'm going to have to go there. And anybody doesn't know, look up. He's a Hollywood mogul. They're the thick black plastic big. I'm going to look like I just walked out of a retirement home. Which, if that's what I have to do, that's what I'll do. I prefer to go the George Johnson look. George Johnson of the Brothers Johnson. Oh, okay. With the wireframe. I prefer that look. That's what I was going for. I've still got the frames. I thought I looked okay in them. I thought they looked better than all the other glasses I was looking for. Because I noticed a lot of people, and maybe it's because of the prices. I don't know. Maybe it's just popular style. But they wear the regular round. It is just big enough for the eyes. But that doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm thinking, well, what if I want to look beyond that? I need bigger, more glass.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I like
the goggles.
I love this idea of a changing prescription. All right, Randy posted the link up on the website. It's called Pixel Optics, according to Randy. So pixeloptics.com. And man, that's phenomenal. You just go in. I bet you pay a premium for them, because it's not like you're going to be buying glasses every 3-4 years, which I think they say is kind of the standard, right?
Yeah, well, when I started to need to wear glasses for reading, my optometrist told me, he says, since your eyes are going to change, so when you first notice that you need glasses, you need to have, maybe for 2 years, maybe 3 in a row, every year you need to have an exam, because it's going to change.
Right.
Because my problem with these reading glasses, it works fine here for the computer, the notebook computer, but when I use my PDA up close, it doesn't work. It's out of focus, so now I got to do this. And when I had the bifocals for me were a problem, because the reading section, the lower section, worked great, but looking out through the top, things were distorted for me. Maybe I do have, there's this prescription here and a prescription for looking out, but I had to take them off when I was driving, because things weren't clear. It just didn't make any sense to me. So I couldn't. The only time I could wear my glasses was when I was trying to read. That was the only time.
One of the companies that we have talked to a lot, and I really want, honestly, I wanted to go to CES to see this guy because I just love talking to him. Bruce over at Steel Series. Yeah. And he's the CEO of the company, just a great, phenomenally great guy. But they're working with Gunner Optics. Have you heard about Gunner Optics?
Yeah, did we get them in?
No, we haven't gotten any in. I didn't request any, but we could certainly ask to try them because these are good for, especially if you're on the computer all the time, or you're gaming and you're playing these intense games. That these are going to really help your eyes. So
yeah, because
I don't know.
What I used to do when I worked at Microsoft, I used to wear, because I had 3 monitors and I was always looking at screens, I actually used to wear sunglasses when I worked at Microsoft while I was working to knock down the glare from the screens. And then, I doubt you found them now, but there was a time back when Yahoo in their store, on their web store, I did a search and I found glasses that had been designed. They were kind of yellowish like yours in the lens. Right. But, and they were not prescription, but they were designed, and I didn't need the reading glasses, but they were designed to take away that glare off the screen. They worked great. They were wonderful.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah, and the Gunner Optics that Andy's talking about now, they're just like that, where they're designed to get rid of all that glare and sharpen up stuff for you.
Well, the funny thing is, when I bought these glasses, they were black. I mean, these were like, you couldn't see my eyes. They were like the kind that adjusted. But over time, that just wore out, and now this is what, they're yellow.
So it does wear out?
It does wear out. And I've worn them out. So, I don't know. I'll put these somewhere in a... I can't even fold these up because of all the Bondo on them.
Hey, now that I think about it, I was talking about the U of A and the whole adjustable eyeglass thing. Maybe it was, now that I think about it some more, maybe it was adjustable contact lenses, I think.
Right. Now, that's pretty cool.
What they have been working on were adjustable contact lenses.
Well, I'm looking at, Pixel Optics previews revolutionary M-Power electronic eyeglasses at CES. And, that's the thing is they can be adjusted, right? So if they send us one so I could try it out, I can send them back. It's not like I'd be keeping them. Because that means somebody else would be able to try them and it would adjust to their eyes, correct?
The Gunner Optics, you mean?
No, I'm looking back at I went back to the M-Powers, Pixel Optics ones.
Okay.
It says your recommended retail pricing expected to be approximately $1,200 for a complete pair, which includes frames, lenses, coatings, charger, and all the electronics.
Let's try them out.
That would be kind of cool to give it a try and see just how it works. Since you wear glasses, I wear glasses, we could both kind of go through it.
Yeah.
I like that.
It'd be great because that would be kind of neat if I could go, all right, Andy, I'm done reading. Here you go.
Now, does that...
Right, my turn.
That include, and the thing is, that includes the frames. Now, I bought these glasses. These were designer glasses, actually. These were Armani's. And I think I paid $500 for these. So for $1,200 in something that changes, I mean, that's really damn cool. And these will be available in April. I really like that.
I thought they were already.
No,
because I saw them on the website, so I thought they were available for sale.
Yeah. Oh, this is cool. Oh, and now Randy says you have to have your prescription.
Okay. Well, that was it was a thought. Yeah. But wouldn't it be cool though if but only one could read at a time? So all right, your turn.
Okay, well that's okay. I can, but that means I have to get my eyes checked anyways. Well, I got to do it anyways. I can't wait till they declare me legally blind. I won't be able to drive. Won't be able to ride a motorcycle. I'll be screwed.
That's when we put in a call to our friend El Jefe.
El Jefe, yeah, he'll help me.
Because I mean, he's gonna be like the guy that's gonna teach us the new way. He's gonna have to.
Yeah.
No, for those of you who don't know, Jeff Bishop is a friend of ours, and he uses visually like the impaired readers and all that kind of, and then the screen readers and all that. I'd like to learn, I don't know why, but I'd like to learn to use the Braille reader that you sit in front of the keyboard or in front of your computer and just read off of that. But I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, one question, don't ask me why I just segging into this, but did Steve go to AVN? Did he go to AEE?
I'm the only wild one of our peer group that tends to
Gloria and I were going to go. Gloria and I were going to go.
Right.
Yeah.
No, you weren't going to go. It was going to be me and Gloria because the last time you and I went, you're not going to go.
I was going to go.
Were you?
Yeah.
You're going to go because I'm going with Gloria. That's why you're going to go.
No,
I'm going to leave you alone with Gloria.
I was going to go. I was like, okay. I'll just know to leave the equipment in the hotel room. But next year. Next year.
Yeah. No,
next year maybe it'll be better.
Steve would not. He wouldn't participate in that.
No.
It's not. That's not for him and his lifestyle.
There you go. That's good. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him.
But you have your degenerates like me. You know.
I remember being there for. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I was there for some show. Well, I want to say it was the NAB in Vegas, and I was staying at the Imperial Palace, and there's all these hoochie mamas staying there at the Imperial Palace, and they were wearing, as little as they could. And I was like, these people are walking around in public? But they had snow. They had a cold time, so people had to dress up this year. Anyway.
Yeah, I know how it sounds, but it's the truth. If you look back at history, it's the truth. When it comes to the bleeding edge of technology, so to speak, the adult industry has let it. Yeah. Look it up. It's happened. And I'm afraid that, in addition to the fact that I take whatever I can get, so they give me a press pass, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
But with our luck, we'll attend AVN, and something technically cool is going to be there, and the guys at CES are going to miss out on it, and we're going to be on it.
Yeah. But then
you watched.
Yeah, but then we did a video shoot from there when we were there, and I never put the video up because I was too concerned with our visitors to our website. So,
yeah, too concerned with how it would look to the outside.
I was like, people think I'm G4.
Yeah, those who don't know us well. Yeah, there's only one idiot in the bunch.
There you go. A single shot of Slick. And I want to mention, too, not only so we've had CES going on, you had storage visions, and I don't know if anybody that we know went to that. That's a huge conference that takes place just before CES, usually a couple days beforehand. And they talk about everything storage. It is everything from SSD to hard drives to flash drives, USB drives to cloud computing, storage, pretty much everything, because that is a huge industry, and it's kind of separate from CES. I don't know of any big announcements that really came out of there other than, they're working to get SSD to a point where it is consumer-friendly price-wise. It's still up there. The average consumer looks at a 2 terabyte drive for $89.99, and they're sold because they're storing more digital content. It's almost like we're becoming pack rats for our data. The more that we can get, the more that we will put on there. It used to be, okay, you could have a 2 gigabyte drive, and that 2 gigabyte drive would be fine. But now with the operating systems larger, with programs being larger, games being larger, people tend to just save everything and duplicates of everything. They'll take you take your digital camera, copy your data over, and then you copy it again, and you save it in another drive. And people do not clean this stuff out. It's like if they just throw it at the corner of the house, it just keeps building up. Next thing you know, you've got this huge data thing. So what do? They go out and they just buy another drive. I mean, I don't know about you, Slick, but I'm one of the worst ones at this.
When time is available, I do go back and I do like to, whether it be electronic files or whatever, I will go back and go, don't need this, don't need that, need to take care of that, get that done. I haven't had time in my life for years, haven't had time. But when there has been time, I get it done. But like you said, there are a lot of people, if not most people, on the planet in our society that just goes, I'll save this and save it, and that's it. Never go back to they qualify for the latest episode of Hoarders. They just that way until it's time for them to clean out the garage, and then you have to have a yard sale. Does that sound familiar, Andy?
Yes, it does. I can show you a shot. Hold on here. Let me see if I can do this right now. Here we go. And if you can see Gloria over there in the distance, she's going through our stuff. And what is that? Oh, my Guilty shirt. Where's that been? I want that shirt. I want to start wearing that again. Does it have holes in it, though? She can fix that if not. That's one of my favorite shirts. Oh, cool. I can start wearing my Guilty shirt again. I have a lot more shirts. Monday Night Madness. What size is that? 2X? Oh, I got to lose weight. Damn it.
here's what I understand. You two have been talking about, and you actually did a couple, as I remember, a couple of yard sales. But you've been talking about clearing out the garage with yard sales. Whatever happened to clearing out the garage with yard sales? Is that still on?
Well, we were going to wake up. When I found out you weren't coming today, Slick, I was like, well, yeah, we stayed in bed. We were going to do a garage sale this morning. So I think maybe next week when I'm gone, she'll do it. Or maybe she'll do one on Sunday? Oh. No, we're going to church tomorrow. It's family day of, what is it? Family. Oh, I like that shirt, a KCMT shirt. Wow, she's finding all these cool shirts. I like it. I have new shirts to wear. Yay.
Yeah, when I go over to their house, they stay in bed. When I go over to their house, they're usually in bed and they get out of bed because they don't want me crawling in it with them. I don't understand the problem, but all right, fine. I'll accept it. So that's why they probably slept in today.
Yeah. Look at this, Slick. Here's an old shirt. And this ties into what Slick is wearing today.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a chance to change, and I just woke up and turned on the camera.
Cool oldie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, for those of you, I don't know if you can see. I'll sit up a little bit. This is from a local radio station in town that. Have you ever been on? I don't know which frequency you've been on over there at Clear Channel. I was on 790. Well, it wasn't cool then. I've been on Cool 92.9, 97.1 Cool FM, Cool 1450, which is the shirt I'm wearing now.
Right.
And this is all similar frequencies in the same frequencies within the same company. Has there been any other cools? No, just those three, really.
Wow.
Just those three. 97, but yeah,
you were also on you were also on KNST 790.
Yeah, I've got those shirts hanging in the closet too. That was a strange kind of firing. What they didn't know, and I haven't told anybody, but I'll admit it now. When they fired me, I had all these shirts, and I didn't take them on purpose. It's just I had them available.
Right.
So I've had like 5 KNST shirts. KNST polos, right. 5 cool polos, 5 KNST T-shirts, 5 cool T-shirts that I just didn't see the need to take back to them.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, you didn't have to.
Yeah. I kind of felt bad about it, but at the same time, I wasn't hanging on to them to keep them. I was hanging on to them to use. Like when I left out of here,
right,
and to go to an event or something, I would always have an extra shirt available for me or somebody else. But I was like, well, I could take it back to them, but then it would be at my expense, my gas and all that. Forget it. Yeah.
I went to my station promotions director for one of the stations I work with, and I said, hey, can I get a T-shirt? She said that we only have large and extra large. They don't do anything above extra large at all. And an extra large is they only had like 5 of them. Most of them are large and mediums. And I thought, you know why? Because the people that run the station are large and mediums.
Right.
That's the way it happens.
So what did you do? Did you make the modifications to the shirts? Or?
No, I'm just not going to wear a shirt. I just won't wear one. I just wear my Tech Talk Radio shirt while I'm running around the building.
I thought this story was leading towards so I took a sewing needle and thread and got some material. That's where I thought you were going with that.
No, I haven't done that. All right, what else?
Can I jump back to Windows Phone 7, or you have
else? Please go ahead because we're about to wrap anyway, so that's good.
Oh well, let's see. We're about to wrap then.
Well,
if we're about to wrap, then I'll make it short. I'll just hit some headlines.
No, go ahead and he definitely hit some stuff. That's good.
Okay. In the news today, LG. Here's the headline. Headline says LG Windows Phone 7 launch could have been better. In other words, LG has gone on record in an interview with PocketLint.com, saying that the Windows Phone 7 hasn't performed as well as they thought it would following the launch of the mobile operating system back in October. The marketing and planning team director of LG said one of the problems is that some believe that the operating system, Windows Phone 7, is so easy to use that it's a bit boring.
Oh, wow. Really?
That's his take on it. And then some of the comments to that particular story I kind of thumbed through, which were really interesting. There's one developer on iPhone platform and Palm WebOS says he currently uses the Windows Phone Samsung Focus. Nothing wrong with the phone from Microsoft's perspective. Yet he would love multitasking, which leads me to believe, based on that and another comment I see later, there's no multitasking in Windows Phone 7?
That doesn't make sense, does it?
If this is true, I know this is going to sound, but that's how I feel. Ballmer needs to be slapped, and Bill Gates needs to slap him. That's just silly. Of all the complaints people had about the iPhone and the iPod Touch when it didn't do multitasking, they're going to release the Windows Phone 7 with no. If it's true, I haven't had my hands on one, so we'll see. There have been others that said, they think the LG phones haven't been as good as their competitors, so they're not necessarily blaming it on Windows Phone 7, just the LG phones. Mm-hmm. Let's see, this guy works for Samsung, and in his building, he says internally, it seems that Windows Phone is doing well for him. He thinks the LG phones, again, no good. Yeah. LG phone. Oh, here's a comment. LG, your phones do not look attractive. The best-looking WP7 phone is the Dell Venue Pro, but sadly, it launched on the smallest U.S. carrier, T-Mobile.
Oh, wow.
The Optimus 7 looks better than the Quantum. And let's see, one last. I'm looking for the gist of this one. One guy feels the operating system is exciting, but the devices are boring. AT&T has 3 devices, all with individual flaws. And how could Samsung introduce a phone, being the focus, that only has 8 gigs of storage and does not support SD cards, which is something you and I have talked about in the past too, about when devices come out. I don't understand how they don't support SD cards. That's crazy. Yeah. It's just stupid. So
doesn't make sense.
So that's what I found on the Windows Phone 7. U.S. consumer technology holiday sales dropped. I could go into a lot of details about that, but let's just say, let me just hit the highlights real quick, couple of sentences.
Which is interesting, though, before you go on to that, because we were saying that it looked like this was going to be a banner year for technology, but obviously it seems like it was. It seems like people were spending less money.
I didn't think it was going to be. Because I didn't feel it from people. Yeah. Still a recession, and even though they said, the economy's getting better, for who? For who?
Well, Intel posted this week. Intel posted record-setting revenues for the fourth quarter of 2010. So, as we look at November and December, and they're saying it's a record-setting year-over-year for numbers. So, are people just going out and, buying laptops and PCs with the Intel processors?
No, you are absolutely right. By the numbers, it gets better and better every year. But when you break down those numbers by the percentages, sad. As far as the industry is concerned, it's like, it's positive, but for us, it's not positive enough. So therefore, it's a negative. That's what they're saying.
All right.
And they're saying that the tablets kind of cannibalize, at least they believe, the way it looks. Tablets cannibalize PC sales, and people were not necessarily buying new PCs and new notebooks or anything. They're not doing it. What they're doing is investing and upgrading in what they've got, which I expected. Made sense to me.
Yeah.
Top growth categories. This was a shocker.
What were they?
Stereo headphones.
Really?
30% unit and 48% dollar increase over last year.
Wow.
Yeah, which doesn't necessarily surprise me because I've been getting in headphones to review and stuff, and they've been really good. But I didn't know that people were going out paying money for headphones. I mean, and that was what they were buying over all the other stuff.
Well, headphones, if you think about it, have gotten better. Even the Bluetooth headphones out there are really good. So they've done much better with that technology.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, let's see. This is there's been some gaming news, but we can get to that later because that's kind of thick.
Yeah.
Well, I won't get into that.
I want to mention, too, a couple of strange things from CES. And you go to crn.com, which is computer reseller news. They've got some pictures up on their website of some of the stranger things that have been seen out there at CES. Here's one I didn't know about. Have you heard of Windoro? It's a project from South Korea. You've heard of Roomba, right?
Yeah.
Windoro is think about it, Windoro. What do you think it does? It's a robotic window cleaner. You put it on your window, and it goes back and forth cleaning your windows. Crayola's got kitty cams. These are not cameras that, you strap to a cat. These are actually, cameras, video cameras for kids. Like your
for children.
Yeah, your kids need webcams. This great. That's all you need is your kids getting on and Skyping or getting on Yahoo, getting on Facebook camera. I don't get that one.
Before you go too far, let me ask you just real quick. Have you ever used one of those robotic sweeper things?
Yes, I have.
Are they any good?
They are. Actually, the one that we had that did tile floor, because we tested one of those once some years back, we did not like. Didn't think that was this. I think it was a scuba is what they called that. The Roomba, the most recent one that we looked at that did carpets, I was really impressed with. The only thing is, after about 3 or 4 passes of it over the carpet, I'd have to empty it and then do it again. Sometimes I had to, get a lot of string, and you'd be surprised at how much stuff bundles up in the carpet. This is when I lived in the apartment, and but it did a pretty good job. I was pleased. I could program it so that on Tuesday mornings at 9:00, I'd head off for work. It would start doing the cleaning, but sometimes I would come home and find it jammed underneath the table. I mean, it had some smart sense that it knew to back up once it hit something that was resistant, but this guy wasn't as smart as the other ones, and it would get stuck under the table.
Because this reminds me of the old carpet sweeper that used to use, where, you pushed it back and forth and you had the 2 brushes that kind of swept, which to me, it probably worked a little bit, but it's not a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, exactly. It's, but hey, you can put it on your windows, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. There's some great pictures there, 13 different pictures that you need to take a look at that are up there at CRN. Also, they have a story up there at CRN about Wi-Fi. I thought this was kind of cool. Wi-Fi video cards. Have you heard about this? So Wi-Fi graphics cards, I should say. So, yeah. So imagine you're far from your monitor and you don't have a long enough cable, so you hook up this device from NVIDIA, which is basically a Wi-Fi card that sends the signal to your monitor, which is across the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's not bad.
That sounds neat. Yeah. I don't remember whether I heard of that or not, but I've heard of it now. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. And there's a story up there at that site. Now, another thing is, and I was going to mention this earlier, we talked about the Maximum PC putting out the 3 technologies they think will go away. We mentioned 3D televisions. They say that will be one. They mentioned also, and you could go to MaximumPC.com and get the story, there's 2 others that they said were going to go away in 2020 that we won't see anymore. And wouldn't you know, I just spaced because I'm watching Gloria clean up and throw away things, and it's getting me nervous. Like, what is she throwing away of mine? But I also wanted to mention a convention taking place, Guitar Center and other vendors out there in Anaheim for the NAMM, National Association of Music Merchants. And for podcasters, there's some usually cool stuff that's going to be announced at these shows, including AKG is a new pair of Quincy Jones Signature Series headphones.
Yeah, I was hoping we were going to get a set of those. I was told that we're in line for them. That's what I was told.
Nice. Those would sound great. I can imagine, because there's studio monitors. Basically, you put them on your head and you're in the studio. And Terrace has got a new auto-tune kit, which is if you're into auto-tune, we got to play with that.
Okay. Oh, speaking of the headphones, there are 3 out there that I'm trying to see if we can wind up getting to review. There's the Quincy Jones, like you said.
Uh-huh.
There's the Beats from Dre, Dr. Dre.
Monster Beats? Yeah.
Monster Beats.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent's just come out with a set from Sleek.
Really? Now, I've never heard of Sleek, so I'm not too familiar with them.
Just between you and me, Sleek has remembered me, but I don't remember them, but they remember me.
Cool.
Oh, so we'll go with that.
All right, yeah, so, definitely.
Although, you know what, now to think about it, I think we met him at CES once.
Maybe we did. Oh, well, yeah, actually, I do think we did. At Showstoppers. Yeah, I think we did. Tascam's got a new digital Porta Studio that's out.
Yeah.
That records directly onto CD.
Is it the VR5 or something like that?
DPO3. and a digital portable studio, which is pretty cool. And I believe Mackie has got a new mixer out. You know, we use the VLZ. It's the 1402 VLZ 2, and they've got now a VLZ 3. Oh, we are using the 3. Okay, maybe I'm wrong about that. I thought I had heard that Mackie was putting out a new mixer. Maybe that's a completely different model. But they all that stuff mentioned at NAMM. So hopefully we'll have some information in the next couple of weeks for you on that.
Nice.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we should be able to be back together in 2 weeks, whether it be here in the studio or broadcasting from a radio station. We'll make an announcement during the week, maybe in the next week too, and where we're going with that. But we'll be taking next week off. Unless you want to fire it up and maybe do an hour show. I mean, I won't be able to be there, but you could certainly do it.
Okay. I don't know how to embed it in the website and all that stuff. That would be a little tricky.
Yeah.
Because he's got all the stuff over at his place, everybody. I swear. He's master control for the program.
Well, we'll figure out
Firecast and everything.
Yeah, maybe we'll figure out something.
Don't worry about it. I mean, if either you can leave me the keys or I can break in, and maybe we'll
maybe Steve would want to be our guest host for a Saturday.
That'd be fine. That's
join
if
and
it's cool with you and him.
Yeah.
And then I could he could run master control
if he'd want to. Maybe I'll reach out to him this week and see, because I'm excited though. I'll be able to tell you more details in 2 weeks about what I'm doing and where it's going, and because once it's in the can, I think we can open up. But that'll be fun. All right, cool. All right, well, y'all have a great week. Thank you for joining us in the chat room. I want to thank everybody who's been hanging out with us, and I'm not sure what our problems were with the chat room today, but USS Rover, always great to talk to you. And I will send you some information there as well. Also, Cornish Nerd, thanks, man. Sorry he popped in a little late.
Cornish Nerd. I'll read what he posted in the chat room. Quote, "Hey, guys, I guess I arrived just at the end again, LOL. Oh, actually, I threw in the oh."
Yep. Randy, great to talk to you. Cubs fan. Mike, thank you. And then appreciate everybody who's coming and checking these broadcasts out later on in the week. We seem to be we're doing more views off of YouTube than we are of Ustream, which is kind of cool. I like that. So that was a good recommendation.
It's always there.
All right. Cool. Slick, you have a great one. We'll talk to you real soon.